Good evening, Sirs Crew. Fun about extraordinary Ace Windfall. Ready for takeoff. Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Monday? Monday, that's the day. What's up, everyone? Music's on? Music's on. Perfect. Hi, guys. Happy Monday. Welcome on in. What's up, Gabriel? What's up, Torn? Hope your days have been good. Hope your weekends were good. 6 days for Raygun. What is Raygun? Is that a person or a game or a third thing that I don't know? Ooh, that's hot. What's up, Boba? Happy Monday, welcome on as well. I loved her Olympics performance. So wait, is Raygun a person then? Are you gonna get a performance? Are you gonna go see a show, Gabriel? Also, congrats on your stream loading, Boba. I hope Twitch hasn't been giving you issues. I know yesterday, Harmonica and May, you were talking about Twitch sound being weird and off sometimes. Oh, the 1.5-year badge? The scarf? Torn, is there a person called Raygun then? Because the way that Torn just immediately, without missing a beat, was like, I loved her Olympics performance, immediately made me think that, like, oh yeah, the Raygun, like, that's just an Olympics person. Or like a musical person. I just don't know them because I don't know popular music culture. I'm not in the know with that one. Was it just my phone? Gotcha. Well, luckily, you loaded in just when I loaded in, so it all worked out. Thank you, Asmo. Happy Monday, welcome in, Asmo, as well. Hope you two have had a good day so far. A good weekend. It's been a bit since we've done just a normal Zatsu. I looked at this, actually. I went through the archives. I went through youtube.com/AceWindfall channel, and I was like, when was the last time I did a Zatsu that wasn't for, just for free chat's sake, right? And I think it was Thanksgiving. I think it was, which you could argue that was for Thanksgiving's sake, but it wasn't. That was specifically so I could talk about Arcane, because I had just finished Arcane, and it just so happened that it landed on Thursday, which was Thanksgiving. That was like the last time, I think. Everything else has been for either like the Christmas or for like an anniversary or something like that. So if we'll do a little catch up, a little talk. It's a format. It's a different format, something new. Or not new, but like it's something different, right? I've been watching a lot of stuff. I've been reading a lot of stuff lately too. So I do a thing. I don't know if you guys know about this, but I play some card games. I talk about it every so often. I play Shadowverse Evolve, and we do that on Wednesdays at my FLGS, my friendly local game store. It's not that local. I have to drive like half an hour to an hour out. That's an unrelated issue though. But when I'm over there sometimes, I got like usually like 30 minutes to an hour to kill occasionally, so I'll spend time in a bookstore. And what I've been doing every so often, if I do end up killing time in the bookstore, is I've been reading through volumes of Witch Hat Atelier, and I just finished volume 3. And I don't think I've talked about it like at all on stream outside little bits and pieces, so I want to talk about that, if you guys know what that is. It's very good. I'm also, I'm obviously not that far in, but I'm actually I understand what people were talking about, and I think it hits like all the right notes, right? Can we talk about the big news? What's the big news, Torn? Maybe. What do you got big news? I knew you would like that one, Gabriel. I was thinking the other day, I was talking, Harmonica was in here, I was like, someone was telling me that Witch Hat Atelier, Frieren, and Dungeon Mesh were the big three, and I was like, Harmonica, was that you? And she was like, yeah, I think it was me. No, I'm gonna say, I'm pretty sure that was you, Gabriel, actually, yeah. That was like the big three, like fantasy works. And I'm sorry I misattributed that to Harmonica for you, but no, I'm glad that I started reading it finally, because I had asked for recommendations one time when I was like in a bookstore, and it was too late. Boba had recommended Witch Hat Atelier, but it was like way too late for me to actually start reading that, so I went and started reading it like the following week when I was there, and I enjoy it. It's such a it's very cozy, I guess is a very good word for it. It's very it doesn't go full on Yashiki, right? But it has just like this nice kind of smaller scale vibe a little bit, right? I don't know, I just wanted to ask that. then that's your answer, Torn. If you can find the big news, maybe we can talk about it, but I don't know what the big news is. We only have small news here, Torn. Small bite-sized news. It's easily edible. It's good to bite-sized little content chunks like the TikTok or whatever. But no, it's super nice. It's very Witch Hat Alley. It's so yeah, I just like the scale of it. Yeah, speaking of small news, it's like the right now at the very least, it's fairly small scale, but you know it's set in a large world, and that's basically how I feel about it. Is that I like it when you have like a world that seems large even if it really isn't, but like it seems large and you're only seeing like one little small piece of it, which is kind of what Witch Hat Alley is doing. It's like we're not like going and traipsing across the entire world right now. It's like, hey, there's this wide world of magic, and the main character, I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember anyone's name. The only person's name I remember is and I don't even know his name, but I know it starts with a Q, is the main dude, the teacher, right? And I want to say it's Quamplop, but I know that's not right because that's the Arknight's Sami dog. Quillfree, I think? I don't know because it's a made-up name because it's a Q and then it's not a U that follows it. But it's such a good story of like small girl in a world where magic exists, but she can't do magic. She doesn't know how to do magic because the mages, the witches, that's what the name is. The witches all keep it a secret, right? And then she's so enamored, she's so enthralled by it, and she's like, oh, when I was a child and I was walking on these stones, they would light up because, you know, there's magic in the city. I thought, like, maybe I could do magic. And one day a witch comes to her atelier, or not to her atelier, a witch comes to her shop where she and her mother do tailoring, right? They do a lot of fabric work. And he, like, helps a different, unrelated, like, set of people, like, fix their carriage, right? And then he has to, like, do a magic at some point, and he's like, okay, you like magic a lot. I want you to protect me while I'm doing this spell, and so no one can look at me. And that's such a, like, because he wants to be a good guy. He wants to be, like, he doesn't want to dash her hopes and dreams. He wants to keep the thought of magic alive in this young girl's heart. And so she's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And she protects the entrance, but she gets a little bit too curious, peeps inside. She sees that magic in this universe is all just about writing very intricate sigils. And she's like, whoa, that's so cool. And then she has this book that she got from forever ago, and she's like, wait a minute, that means, and she starts drawing these symbols from the book, but the book is a cursed object, effectively, given to her by an evil witch, the Brimmed Caps. And so she causes a chaos, not a chaos, but she causes a forbidden magic to occur, trapping her mother in stone and also effectively destroying the tailoring shop in a way. And so then Quillfree has to go and take them back, and is like, okay, normally we would wipe your memory, but I'm gonna use my pole because whatever you have is from the Brim Caps, who I'm trying to look for, and B, I also kind of feel bad for you because it's kind of my fault that you did this in the first place. But then as it goes on, more and more things get revealed. But it's such an interesting, it's such a simple premise. And yes, I think I fully agree with that. That's a really big part of it. What's up, Kiwi, by the way? Welcome on in. The idea of the glyph magic system, I think, is so it's really nice. I don't know if it's overtly unique, right? But it's different than I've seen in a lot of things, and they're using it to, at least right now in the first few chapters. It's very small and slow building, right? Like a lot of systems and a lot of media you might consume. The system is very like small and easy to understand, and then as it goes on, it might get more and more complex, and maybe it will then throw all the rules out the window. But for right now, you have like these simple ideas of like, oh, if I draw, and this was something that she does in, I think it's the first volume even. Yeah, the first volume. First volume is her doing her like first trial. Second volume is her with the dragon. Third volume is her with the knights that want to take her memory, and then also Quillfree does a bad, because Quillfree apparently he will do anything to find the Brim Hats, and that's a very interesting twist that I was like, ooh. You kind of get like hints of that a little bit, but the third volume is where it really was like, oh, okay. He just Allegedly, I don't know. Maybe Volume 4 Plus will change some things around with it, right? But in Volume 3, he's talking with an old man. The old man's like, "Oh, Quillfree, this magic item that you got, that your apprentice had, is actually like a forbidden item. We need to go report this." And Quillfree's like, "Actually, I don't want to report this, because if I report this, I'll lose this. So I'm sorry, old man." And wipes his memory. Insane. That's such a good... Because at that point, like, I'm rooting for Quillfree, but he does that, and I'm like... I'm now conflicted about rooting for Quillfree. I still like him, and the thing is, his like intentions are arguably noble, but he's doing bad things to accomplish them now, and it's like, ooh, this is some morally ambiguous stuff right now. Very, very interesting stuff with it. It's so cool. Let me scroll back up real quick. Plan to watch Revolutionary Girl Utena. I feel like I should know what that is. I've heard that before. I'm gonna put this into Google and see what the first 3 images are. Wow! I know what this is. I only know the images, though, actually. Let me know how that goes, Gabriel. Here's some bite-sized news. I got a saxophone. Nice, Torn! Do you know how to play a saxophone? Or did you just pick it up, or did you just, like, decide to buy it and you're gonna learn how to play it? If it's the second, that's insanely cool. Saxophone was the instrument that I played for 3 months in middle school, and then I realized I didn't want to play saxophone. More specifically, I didn't want to do band in middle school, which part of me regrets, because being able to play saxophone nowadays would be pretty freaking cool. But we all decide what we do. What's the phrasing for this one? But I made that decision in middle school, and I'm sticking with it. No, the glyph magic system, though, Kiwi, is super good. The way that like in Volume 1, I was saying how, like, she's like, I need to be able to get up to this mountain, but how do I do this? And she makes the glyph for the wind spell, but she makes one arrow really, really big, so then she's able to make a sail that she can, like, fly on. Absolutely cool. Like being able to do small little things like that, and the way that they explain why they're doing the runes in the way they are, it's just a very nice little magic system at the moment. Atlas will make an announcement. Did you just like Google Did you just like Google generally into like Google just now, Gabriel? Just like what's the big news that's coming up? And did it like put that one out there? Probably P5 related, but the aesthetic of the post doesn't look like P6. Do you think it's that, or do you think it's a P4 remaster? Because I thought they were like going for the P4 remaster. Or do you think it's the Persona 5 RPG gacha game coming to the West? Just kind of dropped when the MC went into the school. Oh, I'm not at that part yet. Ooh, that's gonna be a little bit rough. I can see that being a little bit of a oh no, Kiwi. Oh, you're scaring me, because I'm afraid that might be where it's gonna get a little bit rough, right? Because that to me has the same vibe as Frieren when they do the Chunin exam of, like, I don't know, the way that's currently going, it's its own little like story. But I feel like whenever Frieren does the Chunin exam, presumably if they put the girl in school, like it's one of those things where it's just like, this is an arc that's almost like too on the nose tropey for me, that might be a little bit rough to like get out of. But presumably once it gets past that, or once it's like developed into more, it can get more interesting. But like, ooh, that's foreboding, Kiwi. Author graded a whole science behind it. Yeah, they like explain it in the, if you actually have the physical volumes, at the very end of the chapters, they'll usually have like a little like, or into the volumes, they'll have like a little like, you know, the author's notes effectively, like talking about either that or like the different like magical creatures, like the little like brushworm that she has. About him currently learning. Very nice, Torm. Saxophone's really cool. I wish you the best of luck with that one. Quillfree. That's what it was. What was I saying? Quillfree? I was adding an L in. The Quillfree sounds better, TBH. Quillfree gets the pass from the fan because he's hot. I get it. I understand. I think he also has one of the coolest panels, because I was always told Witch Hat Atelier had really good paneling, which is the art of not just the drawing in the manga, but the way that the different panels make up a page in a manga. That's what paneling is. Or just like the way that certain panels are set up. He has, without a doubt, one of my favorite panels. I actually want to see if I can find this, because this was one, because because I was told that, I have that in my mind as I'm like reading through it, and it had one of the coolest panels I'd ever seen. I was like, this is just, there's just something about this that just, I don't want to say took my breath away, but I was just like, this is a really well done panel, and I'm really upset right now that I typed in Witch Hat Atelier Quill-Free Water, and it's not the very first, not in the top 4. I'm scrolling, I don't see it. There's an image when I believe it's in volume 2. I think it's in volume 2. Quiffrey is like, girls, let's go outside, let's go have like a picnic. And they're like, oh, it's raining though. And he just goes out into the rain, and he says, but we're witches, and all the rain is just falling, like he's made a circle around him that's dry air, and all the rain is just like bouncing off it. And you have this really cool image of just him with like all this rain around him, but this area circled on him like a halo, like a biblical-esque halo of like dry air around him. And I was just like, wow, that's a really fun little like composition. And hold on, rain. Oh, there, it's cropped. Hold on, no, I can fucking find this. I found a Pinterest image of it, but it's cropped on just Quill-Free and not on the rain effect around him, and I don't know why they would do. Found it. Okay, we're back in there. We're back in there. Oh, thank goodness. Hold on. How do I open image in new tab? There we go. Oh, I really got to do the thing where I can grab. Ooh. I have an idea. If I do this, and then do that, that works. Then we can do I have this set up right? I don't want to just click that button actually, because if I had set it up wrong, I don't know what would have happened, but it might be bad. Where's my TGA toggle? Okay, it's this one. If I turn that on, okay, so that will work. Now the question is, so we go back here. Okay, that's all that does. Let's turn off this and this. We go back over here. We're doing science service group. This is my favorite part about being on this scene. I don't use it much, so we get to do weird things here. I'm gonna turn on this, which should be blank, and then I should be able to just do this. Perfect. Okay, I had to zoom in. Look at this. This is such a good one. It's like the rain falling on him, and yeah, I was correct about the context, by the way. It's that they want to go like have a picnic and it's raining, and so he's like I don't know, just like how cool the idea of like the rain coming off and then just this perfect circle. Obviously with the, it's not a perfect circle because he's in a puddle, but they made it into a circle with the way that it's splashing on and everything like that. And it's just, this is such a very nice shot. I absolutely love this shot so much. So like I always keep an eye out for shots like this because I just really dig them. Also, I'm sorry if this is really tiny for you guys. Let me scroll through chat. My other favorite part about doing this is I'm always really behind on chat. If it was extremely good looking, people would be on his ass for how shady he is. I mean, they should be on his ass for how shady he is. It's the idea of, because I love characters like this, where they're charismatic in a way that they're disarming, but then they're very shady. Look at Maruki, right, from Persona 5 Royal. That's the exact same vibe of just like, they look very disarming, they're very charismatic, but they're doing some shady stuff, and it's like, I like that in a character. The quality is still good. Was it just the actual, did you just drop off on your own, just that kind of thing? Feels too shonified? Yes! Yes! Okay, so that's kind of what I was talking about with, like, the quality being good, but yeah, it's just like the idea of, like I said in Furin when they do the tuning exam, right? It's just like too, like, tropey is the word that I used for it, but it's just like, yeah, it just has, and once I get there, I'll give my own actual opinion on it. This is just my hypothesis on how it would go, right? But it's just like, yeah, it just feels like it might just be one of those things where it's like, you know, you go to the magic school, you have your magic exam, right? There's just so many specific things like that that I like the idea of them being an atelier far away from people in a smaller setting. That's the kind of stuff I like. Pretty privileged. The halo effect is so real in anime. It's so true, Asmo. Quite literally, too. Here's the halo effect in action. It's so good, though. paneling in WHA is amazing, and the detail in the illustration is stunning. It's very good as well, yeah. I think, someone correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it? I should know this, because I read this, I think someone might have told me this. This feels like a thing that Ben would have told me. Or if not him, someone else might have told me, but it was reinforced because I picked up the first volume, and this was like a few months ago, so this is why I don't remember entirely. But I read the back of the volume because I was like, what am I going to get myself into? And like the back of the page was like, oh, the author is this great artist who I guess did Disney-related works, I think. Something along those lines, where he's had, like, they have a certain pedigree with them as well. So I was like, okay. But yeah, like, just the overall, like, style as well. Not just the paneling, but the style as well is so very nice. Young, hot Dumbledore. Like, not Dumbledore young, like the old Dumbledore we know, but young and hot. Where he's got that, because the idea of Dumbledore, specifically, the Dumbledore that I have in my head is always Dumbledore from movies 1 and 2, the original, the like OG Dumbledore. Because I've been, every so often I watch an episode of, not an episode, I watch a movie of Harry Potter when I don't have anything else to do on like a Saturday or Sunday. So I'm like at episode, I'm at like volume, I just finished the 3rd one. And this was like a month ago, right? But like I had watched, because I think I'm basically watching it once a month at this point. But I watched Sorcerer's Stone, Goblet of Fire, no, Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and then I just recently, last month or so, watched the one with Sirius Black and Lupin? Prisoner of Azkaban, that's what it's called. And I love Lupin. He's cool. I like him. But B, importantly, I can very much tell that the Dumbledore changes happened. When I was younger, I probably didn't know or didn't care, but older and also watching them in a much shorter span of time, it's a very notable change. So I'm interested in seeing how that goes for like the rest of them now that I know that. But like in I want to say volumes 1 and 2, in movies 1 and 2, yeah, it's a much more there's this kind of like sense that he is, you know, the knowledgeable sage type of wisdom, very warm, very welcoming kind of individual. And yeah, there's a little bit more sternness and a little bit more there's just a he went from being like Santa Claus to being like Gandalf a little bit, would be the best way to put it. Lupin the Third. Lupin is in the 3rd, ironically enough. Oh, there's a sheep. Not bad, sorry. I did not know that, actually. Like good old silly but caring and safe Elder Dumbledore. Yes, exactly. Like there's a caringness, there's a silliness, there's like that, yeah, that the sage and like warmth of like someone that you can be comfortable around kind of a thing. Not like angry twink young Dumbledore. Is that how he is in what, Fantastic Beasts? I've never watched any of the Fantastic Beasts ones, so I don't know anything about that outside of the bits I've seen from like people doing like video essays on like, what was the one? I only watched one. I think it was a oh my god, it's the one video essay person that has done the one on like Evermore, Needlessly Throw a Roast of Evan Hansen. I watched her video essay on Fantastic Beasts, which was just like a small little like bit on it, but yeah. I got you, Gabriel. You're good. But no, that's what I've been watching. This thing is what not watching, reading. So that's one of the things I wanted to update you guys on, is that I've been reading this and I'm really enjoying it so far. If you have not read it, or if you've like dropped it and want to pick it back up, now's the time. It's really cool. Because then we can talk about it and talk about how cool Quifrey is and how he might do horrendous, villainous things in the future, which I'm fully looking excited for, because then it could test the mettle of our young witch protagonists. Also, by the way, hold on, one last thing before we get off this topic. At the end of Volume 3, the cliffhanger for Volume 3 is that you have the witches without the hats, the brimless witches, the good witches, the witches that are, well, we don't know if they're good necessarily, but I mean they're the witches in charge. They're the status quo witches, right? Ginny Nicholson, yes. Thank you, Asma. Good job. Jeannie Nicholson's the one that does those video essays that I was talking about, and I've watched their one on the Fantastic Beasts. No, but the last thing I wanted to say with Witch Hat Alter is or Atlae is at the end of volume 3, you have the witches without the hats, which are the good witches, air quotes good because this guy's one of them and he's done some shady shit. And then you have the brimmed witches, which is like the witches with the brim hats. Like your standard witch hat with the brim, that's an evil witch, that's a bad witch, that's verboten, right? But they're the ones that practice the forbidden magics. And at the end of volume 3, you see like our main brimmed hat witch like meditating on a rock or something like that. And like you see this figure come up behind them. And so you only see them from the back at first, and they're talking to our main villain witch, and they're like, oh, leave the girl to me. And the main villain witch turns around and like, of course I'll leave it to you. The living embodiment of forbidden magic. And it turns around and it's literally just a cloak and a hat. There is no body there. It's just magic incarnate in robes or something. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but that was so like out of left field that it was just like, it seems very early on to have the living embodiment of forbidden magic appear, and they're just a hat and a cloak. But like that was so funny to me. And maybe they're actually just invisible, or maybe I legitimately don't know what the hell that was because it was a cliffhanger, but I saw it and I kind of laughed at it and I was like, what the hell's going on this early? But very good, would recommend. Goodness gracious, that's what I've been reading lately. Outside of that, have I read anything else lately? I think that's basically it. What was the other thing? The other things I've been doing are ooh. So true. First and foremost, have you read anything good or interesting lately? Second and foremost, while you're thinking about that, I want to give another recommendation to you. This is something I actually just watched today, and it's one of those things where things just kind of happen, right? Where it felt like a surprisingly good timing, for lack of a better word. So I got a little skeb the other day, my cute little me and spare parts. There you go. I get to use my little TGA toggle. It's really nice. I got this. It's very adorable. I absolutely love this thing. Shoutouts to Mine, 07_23 Mine. It's a very cute image. And then today, I was like, oh, I got some time before my stream, before we do our little free chat. I'm gonna go watch a movie. I have a borrowed Netflix account that I only get to use once a month because that's when it's refreshed, right? Because if you don't know this, at least in America and presumably in the rest of the world, Netflix, if you're not the account owner, you can't Netflix did the lockdown thing like a few years ago, I think at this point, where every Netflix account is bound to one domicile, right? To one house, to one home, to one roof, or whatever you want to call it. Since I'm borrowing a Netflix account, it's like whenever I try to use it multiple days in a row, it says like, hold on, you're not the primary householder here. You should go and contact them. It's like, I'm not gonna text my sister and be like, hey sis, what's the Netflix code every time I want to do it? But every month, every 30 days, it forgets that I'm not the primary holder. So I get to go on and I get to watch a movie typically. And so I got to use that today. I got to use my Netflix and I ended up watching something that was ironic. This is the thing that was weird, was I got this, it was a very cute image, and then I don't know if it was because I had gotten this and I had cats in my mind, or alternatively, more accurately, because I had seen this on Netflix the last 2 or 3 times I had gone onto the service. There's a movie on there called A Whisker Away. The Japanese title is Nakineko, or Nakitai Watashi o Neko Kaboru, or something like that. Nakitai Watashi wa Neko Kaboru. Kaburu? Nakineko, or Whisker Away, which I thought was really adorable. I've been writing a bunch of short stories, so I've been reading stuff on the overview effect research. Nice! What's the overview effect? Also nice. I didn't know you wrote short stories, Kiwi. Is the Buzz Aldrin autobiography. So what? Oh, now I'm interested in what the overview effect of it relates to Buzz Aldrin. But no, yeah, Whisker Away. Yeah, like the thing was like, especially because I was like, that's such a cute little cat, and spare parts is like, especially in this one where spare parts is a lot like cleaner than, you can't see the spots as much because of the way that the blending was. I was just like, this reminds me so much of Taro, the cat that the girl turns into in A Whisker Away. If you haven't seen it, the idea of A Whisker Away, it's a very cute little anime movie where the idea is girl likes a boy, and girl is also in a difficult family situation, right? Where her mother left her when she was in grade school, and her father is now seeing a new woman who they are going to like marry. And oh, yo, what's up, spare parts? So screw, hold on to spare parts down there. Keep them safe and warm while I talk about them in not them form. This is like, you know how a lot of times in media, I'm like, oh, that's me in that media. Like Maruki or Antonio from Arknights, where it's like, that guy is me coded. Taro was spare parts coded. But the idea of the movie, A Whisker Away, is there's a girl, oh my god, what's her name? Muge? Which stands for like this was a translation thing, which actually I kind of liked. I kind of appreciated that because the translation would not have worked otherwise, because it was like Mugen Ningen, right? But it was Yo! What's up, J-Dad? What's up, Raiders? Happy Monday, welcome on in. Find Pilot Extraordinary, Ace Windfall. Ready for takeoff. Not ready for takeoff. That's what I say at the start of the stream. At your service, guys. What's up? What's up, Milo? What's up, Alto? What's up, Jada? What's up, Wizhat? Welcome on in. Blammy, welcome on in. I am American, Jaded. True and true. Through and through. That's the one. As you can tell from me messing up a common idiom, I'm American. Also, Jaded, real quick, legitimate question for you right now. Jaded, what is your background music that you had when you were doing your art earlier? Is it Arknights OST? Because I'm gonna be real, I was lurking in there for a little bit, chilling out, and I was listening to that, and I was listening to the background. I was like, why do I know this? I was going actually insane listening to this. I was like, why do I know this? It's like from a gacha game, I think, and I don't know if it's Arknights, but like I was like racking my brain. So I don't know if you know what it is, but ow! Thank you, Blammy. Generic Persona 5! That's what it was! I knew it was something that I've played like multiple hours in, because I was like, why do I know this? Thank you. Oh my god, I was going actually crazy. I was like, it's because I was thinking it's a gacha game OST, but I was like, I was racking my brain for what gacha games I was playing. I was like, this doesn't feel like any of those gacha ones. It's fully Persona 5. Yes, thank you. It was specifically, the song specifically was the dun 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 dun. And like, now that you say it's Persona 5, it's so obvious. My god, that's the thing that like plays when you're like doing stuff in school, or doing like or doing some like goofy little social link. Yeah, there we go. Oh my goodness gracious, thank you for that. Probably doesn't know if we've taken off or not. Say your prayers. We're always look, it doesn't matter, Asma. You guys need to fix that plane before you can actually take off. It's called an idiom. Was my favorite school lunch. I haven't been in school in over a decade, J-Dad, but I was talking with someone else about this. Do you mean like a lunch that like school would provide for me, or do you mean like a lunch that like I would bring to school? Because like, do you mean like a lunch that I had, like, because if it's something like just general like school themed, I would say like a Lunchable actually, which is, you know, the classic American Mr. Beast has their own version of Lunchables now. That's an unrelated thing, but if you're talking about like something that was at school that I would have eaten, I don't know, I'd probably go with like chicken patty, if you guys know what that is. Where it's like it's just the chicken sandwich, but it's like not like a good chicken sandwich. It's just like the slab of chicken meat or whatever. That was a pretty solid one from what I remember. Or when I was in high school, actually, we had some good spaghetti every so often. That was really nice. You get spaghetti, you get a little breadstick with it too. Thank you, by the way, Kiwi. The overview effect / breakup effect is what astronauts high altitude pilot feel when seeing the Earth from outer space. Oh, that's really cool, actually. That explains a lot more with the Buzz Aldrin thing as well. Some are saying it feels like transcendence / unity with the universe, while some are saying it's like grief seeing the earth dying. That's a very interesting thing, Huey, because it's the idea of you realize that you're so insignificant, and or that it's the idea of like, yeah, the overview effect is then like you've pulled so far back that you can see the entirety of humanity all in your eyes, right? It makes you feel your place in the world. Oh, that's really cool, Kiwi. I'm gonna show you what your story is now. Like the Persona 5 OST has become so generic for video essays. Persona 5 OST, oh god, what was it? There was another thing that was also a lot of fighting game OSTs are actually really good video game essays. Uni has really good video game essay music as well. The ones the school make? Yeah, I'd say my favorite was the chicken patty as far as like the things my school made. My favorite Lunchable, this is something I know for a fact. It's the bologna Lunchable, specifically the old bologna Lunchable, J-Dead, where it was you had the bologna, you had the cheese, you had the crackers, and you had the M&Ms. Nowadays, you don't get M&Ms with the bologna Lunchable. I know I had one like last year when I was at Combo Breaker, and I was like, you just throw one of those in your fridge every so often, because then you can have it like between like going downstairs and like playing the fighting games. But they have like cookies in them now. That's lame. When I was a kid, when I was a young boy, it was you got the bologna, the cheese, the cracker, and you got M&Ms. And what you would do is you put the cracker, then you put the bologna, then you put the cheese, and you put 2 to 3 M&Ms on top as well. You might be saying that's disgusting. I'm not going to deny that, but it was also really good. It was like, that's it. Hearing me say that now, that's insane. Present me would never do that. But because I did it as a child, if I had that opportunity, I know that that's good now, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. If they don't have the M&Ms, like, it's still fine without the M&Ms on it, but the M&Ms add like a sweet flavor into this, like you get the cracker, which is like dry and salty. You get the bologna, which is wet and salty. You get the cheese, which is cheese. You get the M&Ms, which just adds sweetness to it. And so the main thing is the sweet salty mix going on there, from what I remember, because it's been like probably 20 years since I've done this, but like, woo! It's one of those things where I feel like I can taste it in my mouth right now, even though I haven't had it in God knows how long. Because that's just one of those critical synapses in my brain that's been protected over the years. My story is basically about an astronaut that has difficulty reintegrating to his life because of the effect. Ooh! Oh, you're gonna have to do it. Yeah, that's something I would definitely see a lot of research being gone on too. But that's a really interesting idea. It feels like the Earth is too small and cramped, like living in a shoebox diorama. Oh, I like that. Kiwi, this is obviously very, if somehow in the future, your short story was ever turned into a movie or a short film, the perfect thing to do with that, Kiwi, is there's a certain style of videography, I guess is the word for it, like recording video. I think they did this for SNL at some point as like their intro cutscene. Like I can just imagine that one style of video where everything looks like little stick figures or like claymation from really far away, right? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It's like when you shoot video from really high up and really specific frame rate / like camera effect, that everything just looks like that everything just looks really tiny and like miniaturized. And that's what I'm imagining your character sees the world as, right? Where everything's just like it's all fake to him in a way, where it's just like a man, like when I was a child, I had a train set, right? And you had like the little miniature little like trees and little houses and everything like that, and he's just seeing the world through that effectively. Cracker style Lunchables are the safest. Safest is a very interesting word you chose there, but I think I agree. I kind of like the pizza, even though I always squirt the sauce over myself. I could see. Okay, now that makes sense, because I don't think I could trust the pizza, J-Dead. Because I remember kids had the pizza Lunchable, but to me, why? To me, it's like, if I'm getting pizza, I want a warm pizza. I don't want a pizza that's been in my fridge and then in my locker for like 4 hours, because then it's either cold or room temperature. And it's just like, that's not a pizza. I don't know what that is, but that's not a pizza. Get that out of here. People nowadays do meat plus cheese, cracker stack, and then stack an Oreo on top of it. That Oreo might be too much for me, honestly. I can respect it a little bit, but at least for me personally, that's too much. That's basically another type of cracker, and that's just gonna get in your teeth and stuff. Yuri Lunchables that had a tiny mini soda can in them. Those were the best ones. Ooh, no! You guys had those ones? We had the Capri Suns, right? Mini soda sounds insane, and also I don't like that they're doing that in like a healthy sense. Like Capri Sun also not healthy, but like a mini soda is definitely not healthy for children. But as a child, I know I would eat that shit up no matter what. Pizza ones were my favorite. My condolences, Milo. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get jump scared by the yes, exactly. The uni or MB OST in a non-fighting game video essay. Melty Blood as well. Raito does a really good job making like just good music that just fits in like a video essay format because it's very like upbeat. It's got that little bit of jazz in there, but it's not too overpowering that it can like overpower someone talking, right? SNL does it. Intro cutscene is not the right word, but it does have that little like intro, right? It's called, but I think I know. Yes, okay, I'm glad you do Kiwi. I like being not insane when I talk and just like, you guys know this is a thing, right? I'm not making this up. What's short story drafting this? It's pretty short, it's like 1,000 words. Sure. I don't know if I get time to read it, but I'd love to try it, yeah. Especially because it sounds like an interesting start. Talking about Lunchables, like healthiness is a factor whatsoever. The facade of healthiness though, Wisteria. There needs to be a veneer of healthiness. If you're just gonna be like, here's your Lunchable, like it's like we have food in stylized versions for a reason. If the veneer of healthiness is really important, otherwise we could just like feed people lard and be like, this is the nutrients you need. It was RC Cola. That was still a thing. Apparently, this is something that I don't know if is true or not. By the way, I don't know if I don't think anyone here is like I'm on the older side. I hope that someone's like 10 years older than I am so they can verify this thing for me right now. But RC Cola used to be better than Coca-Cola. It used to be bigger than Coca-Cola. Is that a thing? Because I've heard that before, and I don't know if that's true or not. Because it sounds like someone's just lying. Like, I wish I knew someone that was like 60 plus years old and was really into the history of soda, and they could like walk me through it and be like, well, you see here, Ace. Because like, allegedly, I've been told through internet rumor that it used to be that RC Cola was the big name in town. And like it was bigger than Coca-Cola. It was like the best thing ever. And then like at one point, they were like, you know, we're so big, let's cut our advertising fund. Let's cut our marketing fund because everyone knows who we are. And then after they did that, over the next few years, it just started declining, and Coca-Cola took a spot because Coca-Cola would like spin on advertising, right, on marketing. And now RC Cola is like the butt of a Family Guy joke of you find an RC Cola machine out in the desert, and they're like, oh, we got to keep moving for it, right? I don't know if that's true or not, but that sounds like something that has been spewed so often that like if I were to take like a marketing 101 class in like college, that would be like the very first day the teacher would say that story and then be like, and that's why you're here today, kids. Now turn to page 45 and let's get to work. Right? Like it sounds too perfect of a thing to be real, but it could be. Is RC an overseas thing? I don't believe that. RC feels so weird, it has to be American. Soda in general just seems like an American thing. I need a good cola video essay. Sorcery, what's your favorite cola video essay? RC always seemed like an old-timer brand. Yes, I agree with that. Like, it would make sense that like it was an old-timer brand that was like really popular, and like then the old-timers like stopped buying soda or they didn't advertise to the newer kids, right? That's why Mr. Pibb had to become Pibb Extra to advertise to the kids. That's not a Family Guy bit. That's actually an American Dad bit. But that's also a real thing that happened. Because there's no Mr. Pibb anymore. It's all Pibb Extra. And also, as someone who kind of likes Mr. Pibb, I'm really upset that a lot of places are replacing with Dr. Pepper. I also like Dr. Pepper a lot. I like it more than Mr. Pibb, arguably. But, like, it's nice to have both options every so often. The Five Guys around us used to always have, like, Mr. Pibb as there's like, whatever you would call Dr. Pepper-esque soda choice. But nowadays, they only have to have Dr. Pepper, and it's just like, what's the point? Come on, man. Should have gotten his PhD. Instead, he dropped out. Mr. Pibb was a nice, respectable man, and he still is, but he dropped out of college. He started skateboarding. He got extreme. He got extra. He's got to go back. 7-Up used to be the big lemon lime soda. When's the last time you drank a 7-Up? Quickly. It's when I get sick, Asmo. Thank you, Blimey. It's when I get sick. 7-Up is my dedicated sick drink. I don't know if you guys have that. But 7-Up, because it has carbonation but doesn't have caffeine, has always been like my family's go-to like sick drink. Look at Kiwi trying to hit people with the virus. I can't believe this, Kiwi. I wonder. So here, don't click this link. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at it for you. It's probably not gonna pop you to anything, but I'd be really interested if it does pop you to something. I don't think it goes anywhere. I think it just dies. Okay, cool. Whew. This is one cola I used to drink. I can't remember what it's called, but they stopped making them a while back. Oh, really? Just like a completely unique brand? Damn. Was like something unique and like local to you? Because I'm gonna be real, we have some local colas that obviously I will not say the name of, right? But we have some local colas around here that like, it's very rare that you see them in like any chain, but usually in like smaller like local chains, like occasionally they'll be like, oh, instead of having Coca-Cola, they'll have insert generic, not generic, insert local cola brand here, and it's like, oh. And it's really nice actually, because I don't know this for a fact, but it always feels like they actually use cane sugar instead of the HFC, high fructose corn syrup. I don't know that for a fact, but it always just has a little bit of a, it's interesting. It's a new hit to the palate, even though it's effectively hitting the same rough spots of the palate. Stops skateboarding, gets a degree, and gets a regular job. we have to break the hopes and dreams of Pib Extra. We have to tell him, Pib, you're 45 years old. You can't be out here skateboarding with the young kids anymore. You can't even do a 360 anymore. You gotta go back to work. You gotta go back to school. You gotta get a job. And then like in 10 years, Pib's gonna be sitting there. He's gonna be working a desk job. He's gonna be like slouched over, bags under your eyes, and he's just gonna be like a little thought bubble comes up, and it's just him skateboarding again. Sad. You would do that to Pib, Kiwi. You would do that to Pib. I cannot believe you. We see her missing rebrand to Starry. Oh yeah, that's a thing, isn't it? Because Starry is such a weird thing. I've seen that around recently, and I was like, I thought Starry was just a completely new brand. The fact that they rebranded feels weird to me. It's like, was Sierra Mist a bad brand? It's like, did they get involved in something? Ginger ale for sick, ginger ale for sick. I've never actually had ginger ale, I don't think. It's called Tab. Wait, is Tab defunct? I know what Tab is. That's sad. Is it dead? Is Tab Cola dead? Discontinued in 2020. Oh, it is. Whoop. Sorry, Bubba. Maybe there were people with stockpiles of it. That was a thing when whenever Coke went from Coke to New Coke, right? Speaking of old, see who, Saoirse, would you guys like to come with me on a journey to become the best soda video essay maker of all time? There are so many interesting video essays you can make about soda. Was RC Cola actually the thing? Why did Tab get discontinued? Why did Sierra Mist rebrand to Starry? Where does Mr. Pibb get his accreditation? Or where does Dr. Pepper get his accreditation? Why did Mr. Pibb not get his accreditation? And also, what happened between Coke and New Coke? Because that's the thing where I have an aunt that's really, really, really into Coke, the drink. And they always talk about how, like, when they went from old Coke to New Coke, she was one of those people that bought up stock houses, not stock houses, but stocked up on a lot of the old Coke product to weather the storm until they switched back to classic Coke. And just like, I'd love to have like some weird video essay talking about that. Should just drop the short story in creative or stream chat. You can drop it in creative, Kiwi. That'd be cool. Tony Hawk is over 50 and he still skates. I know that, Blimey, but you think Mr. Pibb is any Tony Hawk? No, Tony Hawk is Tony Hawk for a reason. There's no Mr. Pibbs, or there's no Pibb Extras Pro Skater 4 out there, is there? Even though he could have made it work. That's true. Crushing the hopes and dreams of him. Here's a Siva, welcome on in. You guys drink soda when sick? I thought you had to stick to boring water. You should stick to boring water, but like it depends on your level of sick, right? For me, it's specifically Sweet Blend. It's whenever like when you're doing a lot of normal stuff, it's water. But I don't know why. I don't know where it comes from, right? But like it was just a thing when I was growing up where it's like, oh, to have a little bit more. Maybe this is just an American thing, right? Or maybe this is just the way that I was raised up. But water was very much just not like the go-to thing, which I'm getting. I guess you could call that deprogramming, right? Like that's why I drink tea a lot more now. I used to, when I was growing up, actually, it was probably the worst it was like, if I wasn't like I would have a soda with me all the time, which not good for you. As I went to college and I had to like buy my own things, I was like, hold on, soda's expensive. I'm gonna drink water now. And nowadays, like, I have a water bottle with me all the time that I can just fill up, and it's like, oh, this is great, this is fantastic. Why have I not been doing this my entire life? And also, it doesn't make me feel disgusting anymore. Because like nowadays, I can't drink a soda on my own. I can only drink a soda during meals now, because otherwise it's just like, ooh, I feel my teeth rotting, right? So nowadays, like, it's water or tea. Like right now, I'm drinking a green tea. Very nice. But I guess when I was growing up, it was just like the idea of like, yeah, drink water, but also you can drink like a 7-Up because it's like, it's not a dark cola, it's a light cola, and it like doesn't have caffeine, I guess is the idea. I don't know what the exact reasoning was, but yeah, that was my 6th soda. Didn't Sprite rebrand? I don't think Sprite rebranded, did they? Unless they just changed like their marketing or something like that. OnlyFans girl sniped the trademark of CMS. Is that actually, hold on. Are you serious, Milo? You say that so confidently that I have to believe it. St. Louis is a cane sugar soda brand. It's great. Ooh, cool. Ooh. I want to try that. I would say I haven't done a lot of they do those things where what is it? Where you have like the classic ones, the throwback ones, like the Mexican Coke or whatever, right? That'd be cool to be able to like grab one of those things. Bootleg soda, moonshine soda. just out there in the back. What you doing, Aunt? I'm making a moonshine. A moonshine Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. You'd say it like that. I would drink ginger ale. I feel like I can't tell the difference between it and 7-Up. Oh, is ginger ale basically a lemon lime soda? Is that true? I'm gonna be honest, I actually legitimately did not know what ginger ale tasted like. I figured it tasted like medicine, I'm gonna be honest. Because I've never had it, and the name, like, people always talk about eating it, drinking it when they're sick, and I was like, with a name like ginger ale, it just makes it sound like, I don't know, a health drink in a way, which is really weird to me. 7-Up is used for stomachache or ginger ale. I guess, wow. So I guess they are fairly similar. There was a thought process behind my parents' upbringing then. We should stick to water, maybe an herbal tea, but also a sweet treat is so nice when you're feeling bad. Also very true. Very true. Like very, very often I'm just drinking water or tea. Very, very often, or very, 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 very rarely. Like usually on like a Saturday night, right? I'll either have like, I'll crack open just one soda, or I'll crack open like an alcoholic beverage as my little like, you know, I'm doing nothing, I'm just gonna be sitting here, maybe get like little chips or something, fry up some cheese or whatever. Yeah, I'm doing a lot better on drinking just waters and teas now when I'm not like eating. When I'm eating, that's soda. Unless it's milk, right? Unless it's like a breakfast food, but soda helps you burp and release some gas pressure, which is usually what causes suffocating. Really? So there is an idea behind it. I saw a video on it. That's so insane, Milo. That's so sad that that's why they lost the trademark. That's really funny. I don't know. What are they paying those lawyers for to not re-up that trademark? And also, Starry, really? They should have rebranded it to like I don't know, they should have kept like the SM branding or something. I don't know. Is that even like a part of their branding? I love Mexican Coca-Cola. It's really nice. Just any type of like raw, like actual sugar just feels nice. It's called Fitz's. Unless you're in Missouri or Western Illinois, you'll probably have to order on the interwebs. Yeah, they really just put this in. Thank you. Because now I would want to try that Asmo. And the other thing, I don't know if you guys have ever like seen a drink or like something online that you've like never actually had, but like you kind of want it just to show, right? Like the idea of like, oh, if you're like not American, you're like, I'd love a Coca-Cola. That doesn't make sense because Coca-Cola is a global brand at this point. But like for me, first off, it's this now. It's Fitz's. And the second thing is, I don't know if you guys know this, a drink not a drink, an alcohol company has stolen my name. Technically, I had the name first. I was born 31 years ago. I've had this name for 31 years. But there's a company out in California, that's called like Ace Brewing, or like Ace not refinery. It's something like that. And they have an apple. They have a hard apple cider called Windfall, and so it's Ace Windfall. And I've been wanting to do this forever. I want to order one of those, and I want to drink it, and then I want to ask them like, hey, you guys need a mascot? I'll do it for $4. I'll do it for the price of shipping and handling. The Sierra Mist branding. I didn't mean. That thought did not cross my mind at all, Wisteria. An OnlyFans girl got the SM branding is a sentence that I did not realize what I was saying when I said it. Good lord. Oh no. Best soda to have when having like tacos or something. Really? Oh, the Mexican Coke you mean? I thought I read the ginger ale one before that. Ginger ale is not necessarily healthy. In fact, it's just like any other soda. I didn't know it was a soda. That's the thing, though. It's called ale, but I guess like root beer is not beer. I legitimately, like when you guys said ginger ale as the soda to drink, I didn't think the ginger ale was. I didn't even think ginger ale was carbonated. If that's the word. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot today. So you should drink ginger ale on a plane to help with motion sickness, but that doesn't work at all. You gotta take your Dramamine. Is that the one? Just do that instead. We don't understand is why they had to make Starry taste like ass. Did they also change the taste of it? Maybe, more than likely what happened to Asmo and Wisteria, what they probably did is, they made it sweeter and fruitier for the new generation based on focus group. That's what I was to say. If they had to like change the brand from Sierra Mist to Starry, that's also the perfect time for them to also change the flavor of it. And then like if enough people hate it, they might like change it back or they'll release a new product. It's literally the Coke versus new Coke thing, except they have like a reason that they had to change it anywhere. They're like, oh, we're already changing anyway. Why not, right? 4 whole bones. 4 whole bones. That's all I need. Getting extra cola now. I'm so sorry, Mama. Sersher, what do you guys want ads for? I'll talk about it for the next 5 minutes. We can make this work. I think I missed something. What's up, Dolly? Happy Monday, welcome on in. We were talking about Sierra Mist. Sierra Mist. It's Sierra Mist. It's not anything. It's not anything bad. Don't worry about it. I didn't realize the things I was saying as they were coming out of my mouth. Good Lord Almighty. Source Crew, legitimate question for you guys. How did we get on the topic of soda? How did we get on the topic of soda? I think I know how. I think I know how. It was, we were talking about soda because there was the Lunchables that Jade had brought up. There were Lunchables that had the mini sodas in them. I think that's how we got on the topic. Okay, got it. Because I was like thinking for a second, I was like, hold on. I want to go back to my topics. What were my topics? And I was like, soda was not one of my topics at all. We did our Witch Hat Atelier stuff. And then what was the other thing? Oh yeah, did I even finish talking about a whisker away? I think I started to describe it, and that's when Jade had rated me, and then I went off on the Lunchable soda tangent. No, Sarah Screw. I watched a whisker away today. Unrelated to this, I got this before I watched that movie, but I think it's really fun because Taro, the white cat in that, spare parts looks like Taro in this image. I really like that. I thought that was really cute. But no, it's a really good movie. If you have Netflix, I'd recommend go watching it. To give a small spiel of it, to wet your whistle, it's a little romance story. A girl, Muge is her nickname. Her actual name is Mio, I want to say. I could be wrong on that, but they call her Muge the entire time. And her entire thing is like, oh, she likes a boy. And really early on, she gets, there's this old man that sells her a mask that when she puts it on, she gets to turn into a cat. And she put it on because she put it on because she didn't like the situation she was in. Her parents are separated. Her dad is getting she now has a stepmother through her dad, and her original mother had left her when she was a child, and now is like trying to come back into her life, and her entire situation there is messed up. She wants to run away. She doesn't want to be human anymore. She gets a old man, sells her a mask that turns her into a cat. As a cat, she stumbles onto a boy, a classmate of hers, called Hinode. And he's like, oh my god, there's a small little kitten here. I need to protect it, take care of it for a little bit. And she falls in love with him, but he doesn't know that she's his classmate in cat form. And the entire story is just kind of like goes from there with the idea of like, how does she want to exist in this world? Does she want to be a human? Does she want to be a cat? Because when she's a cat, she doesn't have a care in the world. She gets to spend all days with Hinode. As a human, she has to go through school. She has to deal with her family situation that's going on. And like she wants to like be like, oh, Hinode, like she's trying to like impress him and then trying to like be like, oh, I like you. But he's like, hold on, we don't know each other like this. And he's a little bit like, I'm dealing with my own family stuff at the same moment. And so it kind of goes from there. And then like obviously the dude that sold him the mask, he's also like a cat spirit, and then little shenanigans go from there. It's a little bit of a Howls in the last not Howls. It's a little bit of a Spirited Away in like the last 30 minutes or so with like a magical cat tree. Okay, saying that one out loud, it makes you think of like a home cat tree. When I say magical cat tree, I mean like a tree, like an actual tree filled with magical cats. Different. But no, it's very adorable. It's very cute. If you got like an hour and 45 minutes, go watch it. Yes, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought that, Kiwi. It feels very much like a Ghibli movie. That's why I was like, it feels like Spirited Away with the idea of the third act where they're in this magical tree, and they're all just like anthropomorphic cats, effectively. Like they're just like all cats like standing on their hind legs with like little like shirts and whatever on, and like there's a bar there, which is like the human cat bar, which is other humans that have given up their humanity and have turned into cats, and they're just like sitting there drinking, and they're like talking to her at one point about like, you're young, you shouldn't give up your humanity to become a cat now. Like we've all done, and we've all kind of like accepted this thing, and like they're not trying to like talk her out of it because they're like, you shouldn't do this. They're talking her out of it, or they're like commiserating with her because she's like, actually, I don't want to be a cat anymore. I'm stuck here. I need to go find my human body. I need to get this mask back. Do you know where the mask seller is? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna try to help you get the mask seller, kid. You're too young to be doing this anyway. See, we've all made this decision. We're all like in our 40s, 50s, 60s. But you can still love and be loved, just like little Z from Armored Core 6. Oh no, it's a very adorable movie. It's very cute. Would recommend. It's got some it's got like the folklore stuff, and specifically like anytime dealing with the mask seller specifically. Like you could argue there are two specific stories that are going on, which is the romance story between the kids at school, and then there's like the idea of the mask seller, and everything with the mask seller feels very folklore, yes, which is where like the Ghibli elements come in. Or it made me think of specifically, Kiwi, was, I don't know if you also got this sense, the mask seller feels like the Cheshire Cat, right? Which again, cat as a theming is important, but also in the very first two acts, when he's just like, I'm gonna sell you a mask to turn you into a cat, he does that like in the very first like 5 minutes of the movie, and then like later on she's like walking home as a cat, and like the mask seller comes up in like cat form. He's like, hey there, how you enjoy being a cat? And she's like, oh shoot, it's you. And he just like keeps popping up, and like he's popping out of like plant vases, and he's like just like breaking the laws of physics and humanity, just kind of like the Cheshire Cat would like appear with his Cheshire grin, right? Mask Seller doesn't do that, but the way he's like popping in and out and just like doing almost cartoon fixes, and the way that he talks in a very like ho 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 kind of like sense is very just like, that kind of like jovial but not good spirit that you see in a lot of like Japanese folklore, like the idea of like the kitsune, like a little trickster kind of guy. Ooh, it's super nice. Oh, oui, oui. Neko ni naritanya. Why does the French person speak Japanese? I don't know how to say. Gato ni naritanya. I don't know French. I know gato is Spanish for cat. I'm gonna assume that the French one's close enough. They're both Romance languages. This is how we turn Ace into a furry. By putting a mask on me and I turn into a cat. But it'd be like this kind of cat. It'd be like an actual cat. unless you're in the mystical tree, in which case then you turn into a furry cat, but not really. Only if you've been a cat for like long enough, I guess. That was something that I was wondering actually, is that, so there's the mystical tree where all the cats are like human cats, right? But when she goes there, she's still in her small cat form. She doesn't turn to like a furry cat. And it's probably because she's not a full cat yet, because she's losing her humanity and turning into a cat. But I was like, why didn't she have like a human cat form? And then like the boy also goes there, and then he puts on a mask, and he just gets furry hands. He basically gets my gloves that I have when I'm in the Halloween costume, right? He just gets like little cat paws. Which then he uses to save himself because he falls to 3 at one point. He clicks in, but I already play Arknights. I already have my Halloween costume. I'm not a furry, but I just like wolves and foxes and cats and dogs. Unfortunately, those are all the common furry animals. It just happens. Very good movie, though. Would recommend it. The slippery slope began many, many moons ago. Speaking of cats, by the way, ooh. How do you like that for a segue? This is actually a great segue once you realize what I'm going to talk about. The other thing I've been doing actually a lot is, How you doing, Ben? Trust me, Ben, that's not even top 3 weird things I've said today. That's not even top 3 things I said this stream. That's the best part. Speaking of cats, though, this is another little thing. I don't know if you guys, so I've talked about something I'm reading. I've talked about a movie I've watched. The last thing that I have media-wise that I've consumed is, if you guys like British shows. I've talked about a oh no, Spare Parts! Hi, Spare Parts, I miss you. Ben, I don't know if you saw Spare Parts was no! I didn't know if you knew Spare Parts was down there or not. I see what you're doing. Please note down, this was the first thing I read. Good lord. Speaking of cats, though, or speaking of British shows, I talked before about a show that I've really enjoyed watching, which is Taskmaster, right? Series 19 of Taskmaster is now on YouTube. Like, they're releasing it on a weekly schedule. But that's not what I want to talk about. The other thing I want to talk about is a related show that I've been recommended before, which is 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown. That one doesn't have an official YouTube channel, but apparently people just upload that on YouTube, and they don't get stricken down for it, which is insane to me. I don't know how they're doing stuff in Britain over there, but like, there are people in the comments just being like, "Hey, thanks for uploading this," and like, it has a lot of comments and a lot of views. So I don't know how that's working, but it's insane. I ain't gonna snitch though. But 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown is a really interesting show that I would recommend if you're like, oh, I kind of like British humor, or more accurately, oh, I like word games and puzzles with humor in it, added in. Which is, so there's the British show called Countdown, which is basically like in the style of like Jeopardy or like Lingo, if you guys remember Lingo, the American show Lingo, where it's like that kind of like, you know, good type of game show, I would argue. Like one where it's not like about the goofiness, the jokiness, where it's like a skill-based game show, Countdown. And then 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown is that there was a show, which I think has been discontinued, called 8 out of 10 Cats, which has its own history on it. But they merged that show with Countdown as a joke spin-off at one point, but it got popular, and so they made it into a full series. So it's comedians doing the game of Countdown. And I don't know if you guys know that I like my old man phone games, but Countdown feels like an old man phone game come to life. Because it has basically 2 modes. One is the letters and one is the numbers, which sounds really funny to say out loud, but that's exactly what they call them. And the letters are, you have a box of vowels and a box of consonants, and basically when it's your turn, you say, I want a vowel, a consonant, in some order to give you 9 letters total. and it's all randomized, and then you have to like look at the 9 letters on there, and you have to decide like what's the biggest word you can make. So like if there's an A, here. Countdown online. Can I just type in count? Is this a thing? No, countdown letters online. Was this a thing? Countdown game. Here we go. And so we do random fill. Okay, so as you can see, you get 30 seconds to do this. We did a random fill of letters. And so I see sauna. I see rash. Like you want to get the biggest letter. So sauna's my best one I have right now. Oh my god, I'm not good at this. I'm better at the numbers. That's all I got. I got sauna. Haunt is lit. No, that's not a Y asthma. That's not a T asthma. That's a Y. Woo! Safe. Show answers. So Sunray would have been like that's a 6. That's probably the best one you have. Onrush apparently as well, right? Oh, good night, Gabriel. Thank you for popping in. It's such a good show. Yes, Ben. I'm glad you know. It's so good, right? My favorite British TV show is Red Dwarf, which does in fact have a cat. What is Red Dwarf? Is that like is that a show, or is that like when I say, is that like a game show, or is that like a sitcom-esque show, right? But no, this is basically what the letters version of Countdown is. There are 9 letters, and you have to guess what the longest like one you can get. So I would say like I got a 5, which honestly is pretty dang good when the biggest one is a 6. Like I'm pretty okay with this one. There's exactly 4 pixels tall. You're good. But this is the letters version of it, and then the better one, the one that I like, but is also harder, depending. You get the numbers as well. So the numbers is you get the large numbers and the small numbers, and so it's cut off because of the way that this TGA thing is set up. But like you can say that you want anywhere between 6 small ones, 1 large and 5 small, up to 4 large and 2 small, right? The most common is 2 large and 4 small, so you do like 2 large, 4 small, and then it's like the letters are 3, 10, 1, 4, 75, and 100, and you have to get to 612. And so to get to 612, you can do like 4 times 100 is 400. Oh shit, how would you do this? 70. That's 750, 650. 4 plus 3 is 700. So okay, so 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 times 100 equals 700. 700 minus 75 is 625. 625 minus 10 minus 1 equals 614. I was 2 off. Like that. And then it'd be like, okay, you got close, you get like 7 points or whatever like that. It's really good, and so I like that. Because it's like, and then after like everyone else messes up, then they'll have Rachel, who's the person who does the numbers, and she'll be like, oh, well actually if you do this and this and this and this is how you get to 612. It's very good. It's such a fun and 8 out of 10 like I don't actually like to watch the original version of Countdown. I just have been in the 8 out of 10 cats mode, right, which is the more comedic one, where you'll have these, but then they'll be interstitched with comedians doing like little bits, which is very fun actually. But like as someone who likes my old man phone games, this is basically the original old man phone game for me, where it's like you get your small little bite-sized chunks of like, how smart are you? Very, very would recommend. Can anyone solve this, actually? Real talk, can this be done? Presumably this can be done. I imagine all these ones should be able to be done. So 175, 4, 1, 10, and 3. Let's do... New page. There. So you gotta get to 612 with these ones. 612 with 100, 75, 4, 1, 10, and 3. So I got to 614. How could you make this big? What is 175? My initial thought right now is 175 times 2 I'm gonna do this because that makes it easier for me in my head. So times 2 times 3 and times 4. Times 2 is 75, 70 is 150. That's so this would be 350. This would be 525, and then this would be 700, I think, right? 75 times 2 is 150. No, wait. Yes, 700. Wait, no, is that right? 175 times 4 is 700. Okay. It's a real life nonary game. Oh my god, it actually hit 612. 6 plus 1 plus 2 is 9. The Didgeridoo is 9. We can make it through this door. We just need Ace and Snake and June. You should not let Ace and Snake and June in the same room. Especially not Ace and June. Someone's gonna die. Snake needs to protect them. Hold on, how would you get 612 with these numbers? Hold on. So using these 6 numbers, using any version of multiplication, addition, subtraction, or division, how would you get this? 75 divided by 3 is 25. That helps. That might need to be used. You could also do 75 plus one of these. 750. Oh, you could also do. Hold on. 75 minus 4 is 71. 71 times 10 is 710. Minus 100 is 610. Oh, I found it! Oh my god, seriously, I found it! Hold on. So we gotta get to 612, right? We gotta get to 612. This is our number. Oh, shit! I would not have gotten this in 30 seconds, but I got this. 75 minus 4 equals 71. 71 times 10. What are our numbers? We have 100, 75, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 10, 3, right? Yes. Okay, so 75 minus 4 is 71. 71 times 100 equals 710. 710 minus 100 equals 610. And then 610 plus parentheses 3 minus 1, which is 2, equals 612. I got it! Where's my mommy? Oh my god, shit! Congratulations, you got that, service crew. But that's countdown. But like, imagine if I did it in 30 seconds. It'd be a lot more impressive. So that's what I've been watching. If that right there tickled your brain in an interesting way, go watch it. 8 out of 10 Cats, like I said, is the comedic version, which I think is a very good way to entry into it. I'd like to probably watch the actual stuff now, just because it taking it a little bit more seriously, and because it would scratch the brain a little bit more. But it's super duper nice. You get your math, you get your math and your numbers fill, your comedy, just perfect. Get incinerated in a heartbeat. If you're playing the Nonary game, Kiwi, you know me though. You saw me do that Nonary game. I'm still a little bit salty that Sudoku was cut out of the remake and they made it some terrible thing where you just replace the numbers with the letters instead. That was dog awful. Like, that is still one of my favorite things. Is I've looked back at this once or twice where it's just like, did I really, when we were beating the game, just go and look at the game and say, no, what do you mean this wasn't a Sudoku? And I just opened up Sudoku.com and I just jammed out a Sudoku in like 2 minutes. Absolutely, I think that is a peak moment for me in my entire career streaming, where it's just like, you know what? I'll show you game, and just. That's what. Yes, exactly, Ben. Rachel would have gotten it instantly. But I like my numbers games, and I can't wait to play. What's it called? Virtue's Last Reward in the future at some point. Where is this? Why is this not my... I have my... I don't know if you guys do this, but I use the folders in Steam. Apparently, Zero Escape is not in my folder for... Wait. Is it? Am I blind? Oh, no, I take it back. I'm blind. I was looking in the wrong folder. But yeah, Zero's Last Reward, or Zero Shape Virtue's Last Reward. I can't wait to like play that at some point in the future. To like get more of that non-Ori Games action. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's a new game out right now that's been making the rounds. If you like the writing of the non-Ori games, and also you're a fan of Danganronpa, they had a chocolate peanut butter moment recently. I was told this, a big part of this from friend of the show, Orion, who we rated into playing the game last week, right? But the game, the 100 line, is that what it's called? Actually, I think it's called 100 line. Is a new game that's out. Apparently has a free trial as well that you can play like the first 7 days for free. But it's a game that takes place over 100 days. I don't think it's as puzzly as an Honor Games game. It's more VN-y from my understanding. But it has a lot of like dialogue and choices in it, right? But if you like the writing of the non-Ori games and or of Danganronpa, apparently it's really good. And I've heard nothing but people saying it's a fantastic thing. And I've seen a lot of really good like jokes that have come out of it, because there'll be like insane situations where like they just like go up and they're like, okay, you have a binary option here. What are you gonna choose? Where it's like, do you want to shut this person up? Yes or no? Do you want to save this person? Yes, no. You want to kill this person? Yes, no. And it's just like, whew. But apparently the writing is very good. But I was told by someone else, one of my IRL friends was talking to me about how, because I've played the non-Ori games and I was talking to them about that because they were a really big fan of it. And they were like, oh my god, cool. So we were able to talk about that. And he was telling me about how in the 100 line, the writing that the non-Ori games author does is very noticeable. It's very pronounced, right? Like we were playing the non-Ori games. We were playing Zero Escape. And, you know, you get to the part where you're stuck in a freezer, and then June just starts talking about the freezing point of glycerin, right? Or how it wasn't able to freeze and it just suddenly began to freeze, and about Ice 9. And we go off on a giant, like, literal tangent for like 5 to 10 minutes. Because 100 Line is made by 2 different authors, like it's written by 2 different people, and like they would occasionally, like, each would write their own little sections of it. Occasionally, a character will just go off on a giant tangent, and you're like, I know who wrote this part. And that was like a really cute little like, oh, I understand this now. Did you watch the episode that she said she rewatches the episode? She disses herself and how slow she solves stuff. Insane. Really? Is that an 8 out of 10 cats, or is that in something else? I've been watching it in reverse order, Ben. As weird as that sounds. I start not full reverse order, but like I started with Series 27 is the one that I've seen on Series 27 is the latest one I've seen on YouTube. So I watched that, and I watched season 26, and I think I'm on series 25 right now. And so I'm like working back that way. So I don't think I've seen that one yet. That's a little insane, because I think she solves it extremely quick. But obviously, you know, it's a grass is always greener. You're like comparing something to something else is always really hard, right? I have a numbers game for you. It's called my math homework. I'll send you the download. Do it up. As long as it's not calculus. Anything below calculus, perfect. Calculus, you're gonna have to start paying me for that one. Okay, hold on. Calc 1, fine. Calc 2, pay me. Calc 3, you're on your own, kid. Calc 3 stinks. Good lord, that was rough, dude. When you start doing math in different planes, is that the word I'm thinking of? That's when I was like, okay, I'm checking out a little bit right now. In different dimensions, right? Where it's like, oh, you're doing it in a spherical dimension versus like on a flat plane. I was like, ooh, hold on now. That shit was rough. I say this as someone, I like the idea of math, but actually doing math right, it's like, ooh. Partial diff EQ, oh, also rough. Normal diff EQ, it's all right. I don't remember anything about it, but like, it's all right. 100 Man versus Silverback Gorilla. That's one of the options you have in 100 line, probably, Kiwi. What's the answer? It's 100 Men, easily. I don't know how that's a debate. 100 Man versus Silverback Gorilla. It's always the men, right? I've watched 2, and I've seen people make the same joke, but it's also not a joke, it's true. If you have 100 men, Like, unless you just throw them out there with nothing at all in like a pure white box, and even then, it's 100. That's a lot. Numbers are a really big thing here. Like, they could just jump that gorilla. What was the gorilla at prep time? Like, I don't understand. How could a gorilla beat 100 men? It makes no sense. The indomitable human spirit will overcome. The 100 men will just link arms like Hands Across America, and they'll go and like glomp the gorilla, and then humanity is saved. The end of the world, or end of the war, or whatever. Not end of the world. Don't do that one. You read CMB QED, Ace. Feels like it's up your alley. No. CMB QED. CMB is a companion work of the QED manga. The story revolves around the detective Shinra, as he solves mystery cases related to murder, fraud, etc. I'm in it. I'm so in it. I want more, I'm really bad at reading manga, Kiwi. I'm really bad at reading manga. I'm only, like I said earlier in the stream, like, I'm only now, like, I'm able to read Witch Hat Atelier only because I go to a physical location where I can go and pick it up and just spend an hour in their little, like, Starbucks coffee shop inside there reading it. So unless they sell this at that place, it'd be really rough to do that, right? Very episodic, but really good. That's the thing, though, Kiwi. I prefer episodic 9 out of 10 times, I think. I like sure, long running or like episodic with like a through line is the best version of it, but like episodic in general I think is the best way to like do certain bits. To like because I'm a big Star Trek fan. Don't know if I ever talked about that one before, but like woo! Star Trek, TOS, TNG, and Deep Space Nine are some of my favorite things, pieces of media ever. And TOS and TNG are fully episodic. DS9 is a little bit more not syndicated. Linear isn't the exact right word, but that's better. It has a bit more of a through line plot with it, but it still has the episodic moments. But like episodic is just such a good type of way to present your media if your genre doesn't strictly require a through line, right? That's why a lot of I also like Frieren. I've talked about that before. I like the first part of Frieren because it feels fairly episodic. You still have your through line of you know, Frieren wants to go up north to go see Himmel's spirit, effectively, right? And like have their last moment together. But for the first up until that dang tuning exam, right? It feels fairly episodic with just the big exceptions of like, oh, this is where Stark appears, and oh, this is where Stein appears, right? Stein, my boy, love him. He'll come back. I know he will. Like outside of like those ones, it's fairly like episodic as to like what's going on. But obviously, you still have your through line of like there are these characters and they're growing, right? Like Fern and Stark get more of like a relationship as the series goes on. It progresses, right? They have the cute little like date episode. But like generally speaking, you can just pick any like episode out of the first like. Oh, I guess not. Hold on, I take that back. There is one giant exception to that, like the idea of like Frierin's fairly episodic in the first part, and that is the what 3 episode arc of 3 to 4 to 5, not 5. Like there's the little bit of an episode arc with the demons in that one town, right? That's the only like major exception of like it's not episodic, but that you could just argue that's just a bigger episode, which I will 100%. Yeah, Aura, yes. That part. That's the only part that's not episodic, but arguably that's just a longer episode in the episodicness of the first few, of the first part. So talking about British shows, I recommend, again, Mind Your Language. Yes! That's like on the list of, like, I take a while to, like, actually go through longer media. 8 out of 10 Cats has been a thing on here for a while, because I was recommended that, like, forever ago. Grab a volume and have a nice time. Oh, it'd be so nice. Like to go to like having a comic book library or like a manga cafe, right? Oh, that'd be super duper nice. The American dream is to live in a walkable city where you can just go to a corner cafe on a nice like Saturday and like sit there and like read a manga while like some light jazz plays over the speakers, and you're just gonna just soak in the atmosphere. Oh, it'd be so nice. It's not Murder Eye because that's what's been bugging me along these detective shows / manga. That would be nice. I do like murder's like your obvious like who done it, but I like it when it is a little bit smaller stakes sometimes. Honestly, Kiwi, speaking of detectives, shoutouts again to Bungo Stray Dogs. Rompo is my goat, and speaking of smaller scale things, I still like the first 3 seasons more than like the last 2 seasons so far, and that's because like once you're at the part where you're dealing with like the United Nations giving full power of all the armies in the world to one man, I feel like the power scaling got a little bit crazy. So I like it. I like that in that last season, you have a little like at the very beginning of every series or every season, they just have like a 2 to 3 episode little bit where it's like back in the time, and like in I think it was season 5 was that it showed a little kid Ronpo just doing his little like his Mei Tante thing. Fucking love Ronpo. My Mei Tante. GOAT, greatest of all Tante. Edogawa Ronpo. He is my favorite part of that show because he's so small stakes. And when it is big stakes, he's not there, right? He's just like, this is too much for me. I'm out of here. Right? Like in the movie, I fucking love this, by the way. There's a great bit in the movie of Bungo Stray Dogs where Ronpo is like sitting at the table with all of them, and he realizes something, and he takes all his snacks and puts them in a safe, and he like locks the safe up, and it's like, why did Ronpo do that? And then like you don't see Ronpo in the movie because everyone who doesn't have an ability disappears, right? And then in the movie, Ronpo appears back up and he like finds the safe, opens it, and starts eating his snacks again. And I was like, oh my god, that's such a great moment. No, Ronpo doesn't explain anything at all as to why he did that. He just does it, and you're just like, oh, Ronpo's just being weird. And then the end of the movie, he doesn't explain why he did it again. You just see that, and I'm just like, oh, that's really good writing for me. Because like that to me, that's like, oh, Ronpo's really smart. He deduced immediately like, oh, something bad's gonna happen. I need to protect my snacks. But he never like he never said that to the screen. He never like explicitly stated that. It's just like a really cute character moment. It's just really beautiful. It's really cute. I've only seen glimpses of Frieren when my parents watched it. Which one was the hot priest? That's Sign, Asmo. That's my boy Sign. As you can tell from the way that I described it. It's like, of course. That's Sign. He appears like about halfway in. He's there for about 4 to 5 episodes, and he has to head out again. But he'll come back. I know he will. He's really cool. I like him a lot. Major Sam is actually a good character development arc for Fern, as well as showing how Frieren and Fern is compared to the usual Rangers. I agree with that, but it's such a like, imagine I'm in a car and then it just stops. It's just like, ooh, it's such a shakeup. Wait, like, I like it as it goes on. I like it more and more. Like when they get to the dungeon, I think the dungeon is actually great. It's just that first part where Frieren and Fern are split up, and I know why they do it, but it's just like ugh. Big tuning exam vibes there. That was like, it just took me out of it a little bit. Once they're back together and they're in the dungeon and they're doing like, because the dungeon feels a lot more D&D or a lot more fantasy related too than the bird catching thing. Oh my god, perfection. Someone's like, who broke the science club project car? Who stole the class money? Kiwi! I know you've probably watched this, but if you haven't, Kiwi, thoughts, service crew as a whole, thoughts on Hyoka. I want to rewatch Hyoka at some point. I watched that in college, like over a decade ago, right around the time it came out. That's a good show. That is in the same vein of a you know, it's your detective, it's your mystery one. I'm gonna be honest, it's been a decade since I watched it, so I don't know exactly how I feel about that, Kiwi. That feels like a hot take, though. You're not keen on Mast? It's been so long since I watched it. I don't know as much about her character outside of the fact that she's the one that was, the instigator of things like "Kinaramasu," because that was her line, right? That sounds like it was her line, where she's the one that like looks at the dude and is like, "Oh, I'm interested in this," and he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll go do my little mystery thing." That feels like a hot take. I like the novel version of that flashback era with young Rampo, because Fukuzawa is the narrator, and it's a bit funny how he reacts to things. Oh, I like that. Because then, I like that a lot, Suiban, because then in that kind of like situation, a big part of Rampo's character, I think, is the fact that like the way he thinks is so eccentric and weird in some cases, and because he himself can be a little bit of a Deus Ex Machina, or a Deus Ex Meitante. You guys can steal that one. I feel really proud of that one. I just made that up on the spot. It feels like, yeah, if you gave him the narrator spotlight of being able to actually see inside his head, it can be a little bit like pulling the curtain back. Whereas like when you have Fukuzawa doing it, and Fukuzawa's just like, this is just a random kid. How is this random kid thinking this stuff up? I like that a lot. Plus, Fukuzawa is the one that feels more like even in the anime they did it too. Fukuzawa was kind of like the guy that you were with the entire time. Every so often you'd see bits of Rampo, but for the most part it was like Fukuzawa was your main character in that part, and you were in his role, like fighting this young eccentric boy, and you're just like, I don't know what the hell he's doing. I'm gonna give him these glasses that don't do anything, and he's gonna pretend he has an Noryoku, an ability. Noryoku. There you go. Yeah. Isn't there a spiritual successor to Hyuga? Is there? Is there? It's not Hyder, by the way, Ben. I'm pretty sure Asma's talking about Sign. Hyder is also a priest, though, in fairness. She feels like... Kiwi! Chitanda from Hyoka feeling like an industry plant is a sentence. Yeah, I think I understand what you're going for, and it's really, really funny the way you put it, because I think I understand what you mean, where it's like, because she's the key that turns the ignition effectively. Like, if you didn't have her, there would be no story. So it feels like she has to be there for a story to happen, right? Because she's the one saying that she's interested in this thing. So I think I get what you're saying there, where it feels like it's contrived that she's always there and she's the one that's being interested in these things, but that's the story. She kind of has to be there. She's a member of the squad. She's a member of the literature club, right? And she's the one that is the one that's like, hey, we're here together. I'm interested in this. Let's go get it. But I think I understand what you're saying, where it's like, isn't it a bit fishy that she's always interested in these mysteries? I love a Sign's name is just the German word to be. Like, here's my good buddy, Is. Honestly, Is sounds like a really good fantasy name. Like, real talk, if I were to make a fantasy character, Is not that bad of a name. Or, like, if you were doing, like, a girl character, you could be like, my name is Is. It's short for Isabel, right? Like, tracks. But yeah, all the Führer names are German. IIRC, except from probably like maybe ones that are explicitly supposed to be different, right? But like Hyder, I don't know, Führer and Fern presumably as well. Stein, Stark, Himmel, which I always like as a nice touch. I always like when you get your foreign names. I don't know the right word for it, but you know, it has that little bit of flavor. Feels like too cute one where they're designed to be one by... She feels like too cute. One where they're designed to be liked by the otaku type. I think I understand what you're saying. They gotta sell their things. Girls can be cute, Kiwi. Called Sho Shimin. How to become ordinary. Is this like actually a question? I guess two-part question. Is this an anime or a manga? This is an anime, apparently. Okay. Because I was going to say, I know that Hyoka is obviously based on... It's an adaptation. The anime that I watched was an adaptation of a light novel, I want to say. I just wanted to make sure you understood that, Kiwi. Just like, this girl is too cute. This isn't how girls are. Surprised there's no... Oh, hold on. What if I just type in... I like looking at the Wikipedia. There we go. Shoshimin series. Okay, this is also based on a novel. Japanese mystery novel series written by Hombo Yonezawa. Is Hombo Yonezawa also... They are! Okay, yes! So, spiritual successor and also written by the same person then. There you go. Thank you. That's interesting. Is this actually... Hold on. We say 2004. Hyoka came out in 2001? 5 additional volumes have been published between 2002 and 2016. Really? That's kind of interesting, actually. That they had basically two different, yeah, Hyoka series, Classic Literature Club series, Shoshimin series, and then standalone mystery novels. This dude just does the mystery novel stuff. I like that. Like modern day Edgar Allan Poe. Which, by the way, going back to Bungo Stray Dogs for a second, I learned today, or not today, I learned a little while ago, Wisteria was talking about reading No Longer Human, which is Dazai. That's Dazai's ability in Bungo Stray Dogs is No Longer Human, and that's also Dazai's like pivotal work is No Longer Human. That's why his ability is named that, because their abilities are named after a pivotal work in their life. And Wisteria had mentioned that before, that they had read it, and I was like, oh, it's really like depressing. And like, at the time I was like, yeah, that's interesting. And then gears started clicking in my head after Wisteria had said that, and like I went and I looked up No Longer Human after that, and I realized that I had also read parts of No Longer Human. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but Junji Ito did a comic version of No Longer Human. Like a full, like not like a parody, not like in his normal standard style of you know, like slightly humorous horror manga. No, like it's just a literal comic version of No Longer Human. And because I didn't know what it was. This ties back to me at the bookstore, right? This was like, I think a few weeks before I had asked for like, is there anything cool you guys like would recommend? Like one time when I was there at the bookstore just killing time, I saw that because I was like, I'm a fan of Junji Ito. I like his stuff. I like his weird, funny, bizarre horror. And I picked it up and I read and I was like, this is not an anthology. This is a full series. And also, this is not your standard horror. This is just, it was very, like, because the title No Longer Human implies dehumanization. There was definitely themes of that. But I didn't connect the dots that that's what I read, and that was Dazai's work until after Wisteria had mentioned that, and I looked up what No Longer Human was, and I was like, wait. And then I saw it on like the Wikipedia page that there was a comic version released by Junji Ito, and then I was like, wait a minute, I read that. I read the first few pages of that. More than like I've read the first few chapters of that. That was a insane like realization for me. That is very rough though. Oh, by the way, one thing that's left out from the light novel is Rampo's parents. Ooh. Because yeah, that's not in the anime at all. They were both geniuses and raised Rampo isolated from others and told him he was a normal child. This was to protect him and prevent him from falling down an evil path. But their premature death caused this to backfire. Ooh! Oh, I hope that, ooh. I don't know how they're gonna do Season 6 when it eventually comes out, Suibun, because I know that the anime's caught up to the manga now, which partially makes me want to, like, catch up to read the manga / light novel, but obviously reading can be rough. But, ooh. Usually, at the beginning of the anime, they usually have, like, a few episodes dedicated to a flashback bit. I'd be interested in seeing if that's going to be the flashback bit. I don't know if there's, like, enough in there, but that's a very interesting character bit for Ranpo. Ooh. So I don't like the Junji Ito version too much because his art feels too pulpish, cartoony. There is definitely a disconnect there, yeah. Because, like I said, when I was reading it, I was expecting it to be, and honestly, though, even though it's typically too pulpish cartoony, I think his art style did slightly change in the No Longer Human manga versus his normal manga. But I can definitely get that criticism. But But yeah, it was because I was like, this is a Junji Ito work, but this is not a Junji Ito story. Was the other part was like, oh no. There's another manga adaptation set in modern times that I feels like pull the adaptation of the novel better. Oh, of No Longer Human, really? It's so different when you're autistic. Real. Unfun fact: did you hear that Dazai, the author, has an isekai anime based on him? Why is that an unfun fact? Oh. What? Okay, Huh. That is... Okay, the more that I think about it, yeah, I can... That's interesting. There's a few different ways you can go about that. Okay. Yeah, I would... I don't know if you're talking about the modern version or Bin's version, but I agree with both of those. I could definitely see in the right hands that being good. The reason I bring this up, though, there were two things I wanted to say. A, first and foremost, I had read No Longer Human bits of it. But B, the other thing is, I learned that one of Rampo's stories is a short story that I've read before, and I ended up listening to an audiobook last week. You guys ever read the story of The Human Chair? Because I had heard that story like forever ago, so that's a very like common horror short story. And it wasn't until last week, because I was like, I'm bored, I want to listen to an audiobook while I'm doing this menial task. I was like, you know what would be interesting, actually? And I Googled into the YouTube. I typed in, like, Ron Poe audiobook, and, like, or Ron Poe short story, or something like that, because I was like, I kind of want to know, like, some of this dude's hitters. I like a good mystery story, and I typed in Ron Poe short story, or Ron Poe, like audiobook or whatever, into the YouTube, and, like, the first one that popped up was The Human Chair, which is not like it's not like a mystery. It's more because Edgar Allan Poe obviously has allusions to both mysteries and also to Edgar Allan Poe, and that's definitely more on the Poe side of things, or like the horror side of things, because it was a very much if you've never read it, the idea is it's the story of a person, an author, who gets a manuscript, who sits in their nice chair and is reading a manuscript they got in the mail, and the manuscript is about a man who is a chair maker, and he's had a scheme most diabolical, which is to make a chair which he himself can, like, fit inside, and then go to a hotel, and then at night come out of the chair and steal things. But then he gets really into being a chair. Like, really into being a chair. And then go from there, right? As she's reading this, sitting in her nice chair. Like, it's such a... Like, it's not... I typed in Rampo audiobook, and I got that, and I was like, I've heard this before, as strange as that is. Very, very weird novel. I remember he's very suicidal, and that's his power. Just like Bungo Stray Dogs Zazai, in a way. Except that's not his power in Bungo Stray Dogs, but still. Very interesting, though. Audiobooks are the future. Or at least they're my future. Well, so screw. I'll be real. I don't know if I have anything else. I think I've touched on everything I wanted to do. Just wanted to do a little pop-in, check up. Because we don't, like I was saying at the very beginning of the stream, we don't really do traditional just chatting a lot. We usually do games, and then we do chatting, like, during it, or, like, I was doing, like, web fishing as my surrogate just chatting before, but, you know, the format is very different here, and I like it. It gives us a chance to go and talk about sodas for, like, 30 minutes. You guys got anything else before we wrap up, before we sign off? Any pressing matters? Let's see, anything from me? We have, oh, I gotta do the Arknights stuff. So probably, yeah, tomorrow for Arknights, we're probably gonna do, I should probably do, no, Stronghold Protocol will still probably be here next week, if I even want to do that. We're probably gonna end up doing the EX and S ranks. I've done all the EX up to 7, but not the challenge mode, because I tried, I don't know if you guys have done the CMs for EX. I hope you guys have. But, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do my EXs. I, like, literally after stream on Saturday, I was like, I'm gonna do the EXs now. And so I did EX1. I was like, oh, this is really cute. You can do an infinite Carnival, right? And then I did the CM for that, and you can't do an infinite Carnival, and I was like, this stinks. And so I didn't do any more CMs. I just did all the EXs up to 7. Did you enjoy the Stronghold mode? I haven't messed with the Stronghold mode at all yet. M1 is cringe AF. I agree. I fully agree. Because it's not just that there's no infinite Carnival, but then on the left side specifically, because I assume this is also what was cringe for you, but the left side is those things that just run and explode, and like, I did not have enough fast redeploy operators, nor did I have enough spots on the right, because the right side you have to make basically a wall. I don't know if you have to, but like a lot of the guides that I saw made a wall of people, so it's like I have to get like 5 operators to the right side. And like, I only have like 1 to 2 more deploy slots, and I don't have enough fast redeploys in the world to like keep cycling on the left side where they keep exploding. Actually, disgusting. I've only played 3x7 so far, but that was the hardest team I've done. It's okay, so that's good to know. Maybe the other ones will be easier, but like that was a really rough one. Gonna post my project on the Discord server when I'm done with it. Of course, you already posted the work in progress, so yeah. What's your thoughts on doing Expedition 33? The Claire Obscura? Probably not anytime soon, honestly. I've heard it's really good. It'd be like a game that'd be interesting doing like in the future, like maybe next year if we need an RPG. But my long term, like my next big RPG game set up for us again is Stardew Valley. I've heard really good things about Claire Obscura though. It seems I would need to like look into it more as far as like the actual like combat mechanics with it, because it's I don't know. I always, even though I just played through Persona 5 and I really enjoyed it, I feel like me with your standard RPG mechanic, no matter how you flavor it up, I feel like Squidward and a Krabby Patty, where it's like, I don't like Krabby Patties, I don't like RPG mechanics, and then I take a little bite of like Persona 5 and I get like the knockdown. It's like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Or like I'll see Claire Obscura and it's like, I don't like it. And then like I see someone do a parry, which I also suck at parrying, by the way, but like then I see someone do a parry and then they get like a 5 times like extreme comments, like, okay. Like it could be cool. I don't know though. But at the very least, that's like an extra thing just for the length purposes. We're doing like Stardew is the next big thing. We're playing through Armored Core 6 right now, which is insanely good, by the way. If you guys haven't played through that game yourself, I highly recommend that one. That game is also punishing as hell. It's in the same vein as a Souls-like, because it is FromSoft and there is like the difficulty in it. But I like it when FromSoft doesn't do Souls games. I also like it when FromSoft does Souls games, but I really like it when FromSoft doesn't do Souls games, because they just make good games. And Armored Core is just a good game. Kind of funny, there's an S stage where you can win by deploying 1 defender. I'm excited for that one. I'll probably end up doing I might end up doing some more like EX CMs and S stages today. Like I'm not planning to do like everything tomorrow, but basically what I'm gonna do is just like in school, right? Tomorrow is basically gonna be office hours, where service crew, you guys can bring your problems to me and I'll bring my problems to you, and we can work through how we can solve and finish the medal set for I Portatore de Velucci, right? We will teamwork it together so we can all come out a winner. And let's see. Let's wrap up today's service crew. Oh, it's raining outside.
Well,
that thing, rain just popped the hell off, my god. All right, service crew. Let's see. I mean, to me, there can be fights where the turn-based game felt like a fighting game, where one turn is so intense with all the parries. There's like moments where I don't know. It would depend. So that's a problem for future race, either way. Yeah, seriously, let's wrap. I gave you this guys the schedule. We're doing Arc Nights tomorrow. We'll work on EX and S stages together. Thursday we're doing Inna Dream Barbecue. I only know the basic gist of it. I've heard good things though, and it's a walking sim with stories, so I'm in there already. And then on Sunday we're doing more Armored Core 6. We ended on an insane cliffhanger. It was really good. Thank you, Teal. Happy Monday, Teal. Welcome on in. Teal TL, if you did just come in, I'm so sorry because we're ending right now. If you've been lurking, thank you for lurking, TL. I appreciate it. Also, even if you weren't looking, I appreciate it. But yeah, Armor Core 6, we left on an insane cliffhanger Sunday, so that's going to be really fun to do more on Sunday. I was lurking. I appreciate it, Teal. And so screw with that. That's all I have. Speaking of EX and S stages, I'm going to send you guys over to Benny, friend of the show Benny, currently playing Arknights, currently doing EX and S stages. As our study material for tomorrow, we're going to cheat off him. Sound good? Let's do it. Let's hit this thing on up. And with that, I have nothing else. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys next time. Peace out, everyone. And see you there in 3, 2, 1. Go say hi.